teaching him for the first time. He's never had painting. He's always liked to draw and do many creative things, but painting, this is his branch here. He did that the last lesson, and today he's going to put his first bird on this giclée fabric. It's a material I am learning to work with for the first time. I love to keep learning new things. For me, getting old is not learning anything new, and I plan to never get old. So I just keep learning, not just so I don't get old, but because it's fun, and it's a joyous thing to keep trying new things, give ourselves permission to have a good time while we're trying something new. You never know what you're going to enjoy doing until you try it. So he did his first branch. He did bamboo the first lesson. And today, like I said, he's going to put a bird in it, and I'm going to coach him through that as a creativity coach, which I've done since my 20s, since people asked me to. And I'm so glad, because I love helping other people like you, hopefully, enjoy your own imagination and strengthen your courage to express it. Any emotion we express stimulates our immune system. Always good to do. Strong immune systems, especially these days. And it also, emotions, feelings stimulate thoughts, and thoughts are what make us smarter. And having contemplative time while doing art, besides the creative reverie, the serenity of the creative process, we also have time to distill those thoughts into new connections, increase our intelligence, and come out the other end, if we give it enough patience, with some wisdom even. So let's have some fun today. I'm going to continue a painting I started in front of you with a pink peony, and I'm going to put a gray-blue gnatcatcher little bird in mine. So you're going to see both of those things happen in front of the camera. With this overhead camera, you can really get some view into it. And hopefully it shows you how simple it can be to enjoy creativity. So when you're ready to come out, Bo, we'll get started. He's in the video editing room, and when he gets, here he comes.
So, alrighty, and DB Catalyst on YouTube said, ooh, exciting.
Good, good, good. Thank you. Love it that you're here, and I love sharing it with you. So here's Bodhi's branch, and he got to think about it a little bit before we got here and decide which bird and where he wants to put it. So he's going to talk you through that, and then we're going to start the process. So
Sure.
you can
So I found a bird picture online, and
photograph.
And it's on a branch, which is kind of at a nice little. It'll be a little fuzzy for you guys, but there you go. Very striking bird photo. And then the branch is at an angle, which is kind of like that. So that works out, because I don't want to put it right in the center. So it's a little bit off to the side. So our bird will be right about there.
And have you decided, not that you have to before you get there, whether you're going to do black and white or you're going to go for color?
Oh, I don't know. What do you think? You're the...
I think these are the fun part of creativity, is making these choices. And it is my long experience that if we don't hurt ourselves or anyone else, there's no wrong choice. As long as we do something, we're learning, we're enjoying. So there's no wrong way to do it. But I'm going to help him sketch it out first. And while you're doing that, maybe you'll get an inspiration whether you want to go black and white or color. So is this camera on now?
It is. Let's show them that angle.
All right. So now they can see that you've decided to put it where?
Over here.
Great. Okay, so the first thing I would suggest to him and anyone else is that you sketch it, even if you're using canvas, Visgy clay, fabric, or paper, lightly with a number 2 pencil because they're so easy to erase and change. So when you're sketching something like a bird, the first thing I would do is try to get the essence of it. So first, how big are you thinking of it being in that space? Stretching from where to where?
So, maybe around the size of the photo,
Okay.
yeah, tail feather to the top of its head.
Okay. So I usually, when I draw, now I'm self-taught, and I don't think my way is the best way or the only way. It's just the way I've done it. And so we can only teach what we know. So other people that are academically trained in drawing and such, they may have completely different ideas. But mine is to put the main part of the bird in there as a shape, and then the head as a shape, and the tail as a shape, and then go in and detail. So the main part of the bird, the body, is kind of a oval.
Kind of an egg.
Yeah, so put that in first, the size, very light lines that you think you'd like it to be.
Something like that.
Great. And now the head, of course, is attached, but it's also a slightly different shape. So put that in, and then we'll add the beak later.
It's kind of an egg going in the other direction.
Okay. Now, I find that the line through the center of the beak is a really important one to kind of get the right movement and the right placement of the beak and the eye in proportion to each other. So I put that center line in, okay? I'm going to put on my magnifying glasses because he's drawing such light lines. I'm having trouble seeing. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, it might not be really picking up on the overhead camera yet, but we're getting there.
We're getting there. Now that bird eye is very round, and I see that you've drawn
I've given him a human eye.
It's not a horror film, your usual.
Métier.
All right. So now let's give the beak a little, there is a real triangle. So let's give it its triangle shape in proportion. Noise. And the bottom. Nice. Now we have this nice curve on this end of the beak and the nostril. So how about put those in there just to give you a little definition.
So nostrils hanging out right about here. And when you said curve, you mean where the feathers meet the...
Where the feathers come over the bony bill.
They kind of...
Nice. Okay. Now, where the head connects to the body in here, make that line a little stronger so you really get, and then continue into the body because they're not, yeah, and now you have a...
You get a little bit on the top of the head.
Sure. So what I would do next is make the lines you're happy with in the body a little darker, and then you're gonna put in the wing before you put in these detail lines, I would suggest. So I like to stay big, get the big shape, the biggest shape first, and then add detail as I go. Yes, and even though we did the body and the head as separate shapes, they are connected, so that's important too. And so as you come down to the bottom of the body, continue out into the tail. Just take it on out.
Okay, skipping a little bit for leggies.
Now this is another kind of triangle shape here.
Yeah.
So you
It's
could
got a triangle here, and then it's got the rest of the tail feathers.
which is kind of like a fan.
Yeah,
So the tail,
the tail
connecting
triangle
to,
is kind of right there.
right. And so you can then just draw the shape of that fan, and we'll detail feathers in a bit. Okay, now let's put in the shape of the wing. And we see that the wing hangs over the body there. So,
And it makes it right about here. That's the triangle. Okay, so something like.
now we can see with this beautiful bird, what is this bird? Doesn't matter. We'll get there later. So we have these blacks across there, and then we have this shape in here, and then this shape, and then it's a row of feathers, and then it's the longer feathers. So there's feathers, there's feathers. So you might want to put those.
So I could just give myself a little bit of a guide,
Mm-hmm.
going like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the way?
That works really nicely. Now, one thing I've felt over the years drawing birds is there's always some really delicate little places, like that little wing tip that comes out there in a very delicate. So you want to, I would say,
So
that,
it's very sharp, you're saying?
yes, it's a sharp, delicate shape.
Comes to a nice point.
Yes.
Okay.
And I would say it's the same with the tail, that you might want to give a couple little indications. And now, of course, you know, this is not for a book on avian ecology, so it doesn't have to be exact. You can change things, but I find being inspired by the real thing very inspirational. So you want to put the legs in. He's hanging on. So
I see that one leg
there
comes all the way. The tip of the talons comes out there. But we'll start with this.
But yeah, start with where the leg connects to the body. And you see, birds are very balanced creatures. So they have their balanced thing going on. They know how to hang on to a little branch really well.
Yep.
And where the leg and talons meet, there's a little thicker area, the bottom of the leg. But
something like that. Okay, see there's one
okay.
talon that's out that way.
Just draw the shape first, and then we'll detail in a bit. And you don't have to show all of them too. Now, where's the other leg for the balance part?
The other leg comes. Now, I didn't draw my bird as close to the branch.
That's all right. It doesn't matter. We just show more of its leg. It's showing more leg.
Ooh.
It's an alluring bird. And I keep legs really thin on birds because they are almost always. And that is the only part I might do a little thinner, and I might do the tail a little bit longer and not quite as more of a let's see if we can get that part of the bird.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So
round. The tail feathers are round. The wing feathers kind of come to a point.
Something a little bit more like that.
That looks great. All right. Now don't go too far with any part of it till we get the whole thing, the whole shape fleshed in. So give yourself these. There's one, and then there's the black, the blue, the black, the orange, the black, the orange, the black. So there's a lot of shapes in there that are intriguing. And
so that's kind of the black.
You don't have to put any detail, just shapes for right now, and then we'll come back and detail it. The shapes first are so that the proportions read, and then the detail. I find a lot of us want to start detailing before we've got the whole shape, and it takes some patience and discipline to kind of hold ourselves back. And get the shapes first before you start doing the detail. Our brain wants to start detailing it, controlling it. Now, the shape of the head is important, and so get that. It's kind of almost goes flat, and then it curves. Okay. And now the eye being extremely round really reads with the bird. And then there's usually a ring of a different color. In this photograph, this bird, it's barely a gray, but it is a different ring around the very black eye that does have a light spot in it. So a nice circle with a ring around it, it's a part of the bird that is not oblong like most of its shapes. And there we go. Now, I think the head got a little squished, in my opinion.
I do too.
So let's unsquish it. Birds need space for their brains.
Their bird brains.
They can migrate thousands of miles. They can find their way back to a specific spot that they want to nest in, or the spot they go to over the winter to have food. They've got some intelligence and some ability to navigate the world that we don't even really have any understand. Well, we have some understanding, but we don't totally get how smart birds can be.
Right.
All right. So now I would say it's a little more detail time in these guys in there. And just, little, there you go.
Just kind of outlining where the color changes.
Yeah, and as we can see, it kind of goes 1, 2, 3, 4 dips of black into the orange.
1, 2, 3-ish, 4-ish.
There we go. And then this shape is a real triangle in there, and then we have a nice
that triangle there, and then we get kind of
a nice sweepy,
strange sweepy thing,
and then another
strange.
And then we have some feather shapes.
Feathers.
Feather shapes. And then we have the black, which also has a very subtle but feather shapes. And then the blue is very soft little feathers.
It'll be interesting to see how much of this sort of detail I'll be able to capture with, I'm looking at what I did with this.
Well, it depends on how you want to do it. You get to make these decisions, and you can, as we can see, this was Sumi ink, but we can use pencil. When I did the book of cranes, all 15 species of cranes, I used watercolor and Prisma color pencil because I love the big washy areas in contrast with the sharp detail that you can get with a sharpened Prismacolor pencil that's also water soluble, so they can mix nicely.
Mhm.
And especially while using our creativity, I would say nobody else makes the rules for us. So now we see that the leg is coming out of the feathers, and the only thing besides that you fixed the head that seemed a little squished is, in my opinion, the legs are too,
Kind of a bit too thick at the top.
yes, and you can erase.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is that the body's going to obscure that thick part I drew up there, so we'll erase.
It's about, just staying thin. This one is too thick, in my opinion. And sometimes we can even change the anatomical features of a creature or a scene. We can draw or paint the feeling and not worry about, these are not, science textbook. This is art. And so the most important thing is the feeling so, there we go. Do you see how that feels better?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Much
So
more nimble.
yes. So the only other thing I would suggest is to just erase this part, because it really kind of just comes out of the feathers. We're not seeing.
You can really see the structure of the legs.
Right. And so it's
this eraser doesn't seem to work as well as the actual.
Well, there's also this one, and
eraser.
there you go. Don't go too wild, because I've got the little water in these different colors.
It does seem to leave a teeny bit of pink, but not.
It's fine. And all right. So the tail feathers, that's really thick for one tail feather. So I would divide that into a number of tail feathers.
Just by adding line?
Yeah. You can do that. There we go.
Okay.
Something I've learned over the years drawing is that drawing away is more graceful than coming toward.
Yeah, right.
Allows us more delicate control. Okay, why don't you try this one in here where you can take out the extra shapes, and I still want some more of that little leggy. And
do you think the paint will cover any extra lines?
oh yeah, paint or pencil. That I wouldn't worry about it. But I like to have basically the shapes and only the shapes. And I have a brush here. Let me. And if you ever so you don't have to get the oil from your hands, which we always have on our hands, which is why when I paint or draw, I usually wear my fingerless gloves so that I don't get my skin oil on. Okay.
And then Michael B said, "Did I miss this?" No, you're here now. And Joni B said, "Very fun to watch you draw together." Oriole bird? I
Oh.
don't know. Good question. Let me look up where I got cornet.
What'd you do?
It is an Oriole.
Good one. Good.
Good call, Joni.
All right. So the only other thing I would like is just feel like that's chunky, and birds are never, well, sometimes
She's
chickens.
calling my bird fat, everybody.
I said chunky. It's just a little bit too chunky in there for me. I'm the chunk patrol. What did I do with the brush? There it is. Okay, now get your pencil.
Checking.
I'm
got my pencil.
I'm not drawing on your bird. It's your bird. So these shoes.
Really.
So give the body over the leg. So the leg comes out of the body. So it's, yeah. Just make that line a little stronger in there, and then it's time to decide which way you want to go. Whether you want.
Can I start black and white and
Absolutely.
black, and then we'll see.
Absolutely.
How we want to go as far as with any color.
And you can use this more powerful black.
Think I should to fill in, or what?
Yeah, why don't you shade? Start at the top maybe, and just delicately shade.
Okay.
And leave the eye. There's a Chinese master painter whose name I'm very, very bad at remembering names. Could it be Lao Tzu? I can't remember with any certainty, but he had a habit of drawing the eye last, because when he made his creatures, he believed that when he put the eye in, they would fly off the page. So I've just always loved that story. So that's one of the reasons I usually do the eye last. And the other reason is that the eye communicates such feeling, and if we save that for last,
You can leave the light, the reflection in the eye for the light.
For the last, and well, when I fell in love with drawing was when I drew a gorilla, and I did the eye last, and it looked at me, and I felt it, and that's when I fell in love with drawing. So it can be very powerful, and so I like to save it last, like dessert.
Nice.
You can also, use the side of the pencil so it's a softer and a more shading instead of drawing little lines, but you're doing great. We should have started with some Floga today. Here, I got an idea. Let's stop for a moment of Floga, which all people should do.
Take a Floga break.
Here we go. So here we are. Let's move that back. And so we're just gonna, I started as they called me a dance therapist. But I love all the arts. So here I love to explore them all. But let's get the energy flowing by starting with our feet and wiggling them, and then up through our ankles and moving through our...
I can't see your feet.
Yeah, well, I'm not in Floga shoes, but there we are. Okay, so start with your feet and then your ankles and your shins and your calves and then your knees, and just get the energy flowing, and then your thighs and up to the hips and the booty and the belly, and just get things shaking and moving, and then up to the chest and move it, move it any way you want. And then the shoulders, and up and down and up and down, and pinch them and drop them, pinch them and drop them. And then the arms, the upper arm, the elbows, the lower arms, the wrists and hands and fingers. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. The neck and head. Any of those sounds stuck in there, just let them out. Whoo! All righty. Okay, and then back down to your feet. There we go.
Cool.
Back to work. If I ran an office, there would be floga breaks. Everybody up for floga?
Floga time.
I'm very happy with this. I hope you are.
Yeah, I feel good about it, and
good.
I'm not ashamed of, using somebody else's really good photograph to help me through it. I'm not above it.
Well, first of all, it's just a tribute to them to be inspired by someone's, first by the bird that inspired the photographer, that inspired the person that put it up on the internet, that inspired you to look for it and find it and use it as inspiration for your art. You're just sharing the inspiration around you. I don't think there's anything but good. It's complimentary, and you're not claiming you took the photograph.
Right.
You're not. Yeah.
It's not coming out of my mind, and that's all right. This is helping me learn.
Well, also, I don't think it is my opinion that I feel very strongly about. There is no better designer than nature and the cosmos, not just planet Earth. There's so much wonder and so many ideas and possibilities and shapes and colors and configurations, and the way nature puts it together is it never ceases to inspire and amaze me. I'm really pleased with your delicate progress here. Move slowly. Now there's some black in here that would help to get that in your little birdie. Wow.
Yeah, you can detect the shape so you can copy and paste it to other places.
Wow. Yeah, well, all the computer technological tools and advancements, they all came from somebody's brain first, and that brain was informed and inspired by the natural world we're all born into. So let's give credit where credit is due. Nature is the master designer. So there's some more. Can we stop that? It's very distracting. Thank you. There's more black lines in there that give it some shapes.
There's a thick one. And
there are times, that we, just because it's there in the photograph or there in the object or the scene we're painting or drawing, doesn't mean that we add it. The artist's job is to take what we observe and make it into something that we and the viewers can feel. And sometimes that's very different than when we actually see what gets us to feel what we want to communicate as the artist.
Did I mess it up?
No. No, and there is no way to mess it up. I always say it, unless you get hurt or hurt someone else, because you're learning. And so just doing it, and the artist blocks that people talk about a lot. Oops, I just shook the camera. I don't suffer from, because I just say, if I have any time to do art, I want to be grateful for it by using that time. And I'm not going to let the doubt-filled critic within me, like everybody, I have one, and like everybody, I've heard a lot of critical stuff in my life. I don't want to give it any room to stop me from enjoying learning. So this black and little shadowing in here,
Okay, so yeah.
and just a little soft
So the shade, yeah, right.
shading. It's
is
not,
what we're saying, not just.
yeah, and using the side of the pencil.
Yeah, it's just trying to give myself a little shape. Sometimes I outline the shape of the.
Just soft is good. Soft shading, and in fact, in here as well, gives three-dimensionality. Is that a word?
No.
I made up another word. I do that a lot. And in fact, Bodhi looked up the other day, and he'll remember the words that mean what I do often. Combine words, make up words, combine.
Combining a word is a portmanteau, two words together like airport. You often combine your own words, which is when somebody coins a new word, which you do regularly, is a neologism. So we coined the word the neoport, and a neologistic portmanteau, because you often coin new words by fusing together words that haven't been fused before.
Right, like compelling. That's what our directive as movie makers is: make it appealing and compelling. So compelling is our word that, oh, someday other people probably will use, because it's a good one. If I do say so myself. All right, I'd say that it might be time for what I call the perspective break. So let's put back up here. Let me clip it on the table, and you get to see it from another. Back up the camera so it can see it too. And this is a good time to take a perspective break. That's one of the things that can be challenging. We get into it, and it's kind of meditative and soothing, and we just want to keep going. I hope you're pleased with that, because that is really nice.
Yeah, it's looking good.
So this is a good time, I'd say, to take a break from that.
Good.
And then what I often do, show these. Here's Bodhi's first Sumi painting ever. Oh. Here's Bodhi's first painting, Sumi brushstroke painting ever. And here's what I'm working on, and I'm going to continue that in front of the camera now. But I like to hang what I'm working on and walk away. And later, sometimes the next morning, I'll walk in the room not even thinking about it, and I'll see it, and then it'll be clear what's next, because I'm not trying to figure it out. I've let go, and I'm just letting it tell me what it wants. So I call those perspective breaks.
Ocean Sea Poet on Facebook said, "Thanks for this lesson. Inspiring. Great job. Very well said." And thank you, Ocean. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. That was very, Very kind.
And Jan Margot or Jan Margot said, "It's so nice to witness this."
Nice. Jan Margot, we met on a train, funicular railway in the fjords, I believe, the fjords of Norway.
Yep.
When Bodhi was a little boy. So I love how the internet allows us to connect so easily with one another. That is a beautiful use for the tool, and we don't have to fly or drive and contribute to global warming. There is a cost for computer technology, and there is energy to produce it, but it's still fabulously positive as far as not contributing anywhere near the amount of greenhouse gases that flying or driving. So I'm going to work on my little gray-blue gnat catcher. If I can find him again. Here he is. Here's the guy I'm going to work on.
Oops, I have Max. 1 second. Wrong camera angle.
Okay. All right. So if he'll just stay right there. And I'm going to use pencil first and add some I don't know how to keep this photograph up. I need my technical assistant. How can this photograph stay? Without me having to hold it would be nice.
You don't have to hold it.
No, it goes away.
It's because your phone is kind of low battery, so it wants to go to sleep.
Well, come on, phone. How am I supposed to use this guide if you're not there? So I don't know how to make it happen.
Should we find now? Oh, wow. It's showing very zoomed in. It's cool. Try to get you your phone plugged in and change the settings. But out of that, we'll use my phone.
All right, that'd be nice.
Lena Rawlings said, "You guys are amazing." Hi, Lena.
Hi, Lena. Nice to hear from you and connect with you. Yeah. Back in Marin County, California. So it is really sweet to connect with people around the world and the people we've enjoyed and bonded with, and to know we're still connected.
Speaking of which, Jan Margot, it feels special to be in your home without flying indeed. It was in Norway that we met on the trip, Norway in a nutshell, trip to Bergen, and it is indeed nice to keep in touch after all these years, thanks to the internet.
Thank you. That's beautiful. And I even remember the conversation we had, and the funicular train stopped at this spot, and there was a platform. We all got out of the train in this very, very nature spot with a platform to stand on, and some music started. And I said, "Here she comes." And this platform raised up from some hydraulic system they had in this woman that was wearing a long flowing dress and had long dark hair rose out of the falls, and it was really a memorable moment on their tourist their little tourist show they had for us. That was really fun. Yeah, very special. We spent a year in our moving home on the way to this home, traveling this country, 22,000 miles, 40 states, to choose where we wanted to relocate. And we called it In Search of True Beauty. And we chose this part of the world and this part of the country for a number of reasons. The beautiful community, how kind and loving the people are here, how much they appreciate the arts and the creative people here, and the beautiful, of course, inland sea and all the nature surrounding. And then these gorgeous old homes built at the turn of the century that we got to get one that had so much deferred maintenance. It had been on the market for a decade. Nobody wanted to do this much work, but we did it. And we could afford it because of that. And Bodhi made a video called Polishing the Emerald Lady. He named our home the Emerald Lady because of the historic emerald colored shingles.
I'm going to interrupt because Sue sent us a gift on Facebook Live. Thanks for sending the 20 stars, Sue Spencer. She said, "Sorry I'm late to your show. Love seeing you on TV too, Bodhi." Thank you. Congratulations to you and your mom for your incredible success in your arts, dreams, and movies. Oh, you're the best.
Thank you. And Sue, another story. I like to tell stories, as Bodhi knows, and now my son has become, a movie maker, author, storyteller. He's always liked stories too, not just mine, but any good story. The story of Bodhi saying, he thought I exaggerated how nice people are here until we came. The third time we came, Sue, it was your house that we stopped in with a friend, giving us a kind of a tour of the area and the people and such. And you guys just all, without any prior notice, you all just stopped what you're doing and came out, and we all had, lemonade on the veranda together. And it was that time that Bodhi said, you didn't exaggerate how nice people are here. And he chose Duluth too. So Sue, you and your family get that recognition from us. You're when Bodhi said, you didn't exaggerate. I do tend to try to focus on the good in everything and everyone, and he thought I romanticized the people here until that experience. Unfortunately, in California, he was born in San Francisco, and then we, built a home and lived in a home in Mill Valley that the Museum of Modern Art in San Francisco brought tours up to see, because I did every single thing in the interior with my own hands. And that was all wonderful. But it was voted the snobbiest place in the country. And I feel for the people there. It's so expensive that people often feel like they have to just think about money all the time and how to make it and expand it, and instead of what I prefer, thinking about the quality of life and loving connections with each other and the planet. So we didn't. Bodhi said, at 10, Mom, you'll never fit in here. And I said, where will I fit in? He said, well, where people are nice. And so here we are. I didn't know he was going to come with me when it was time to leave California. But we decided to take a year to explore the country and decide where to move to based on where we could be who we want to be, do what we love, and give that to the world. And that's creativity and storytelling and movie making, and we're doing it.
Yep.
How many videos have we put out on our YouTube?
Wow, yeah, well, at least 300 on the Creativity Show's YouTube, and more than that on the Creativity Show Facebook and your Facebook profile. A lot of video content. Sue Spencer said on Facebook, have you done murals yet? Do you paint directly on walls and other surfaces?
What a wonderful question. That is literally my next project, is what I call the Seven Stairs series, which is this giclée paper and these, my design with the scroll hanging system on our back staircase. And I'm going to do that in front of the camera, and it's going to look like the whole wall has been painted, but they will be movable, and the 7 will connect in a story, but each one will be an independent painting. And I'm going to do that whole thing in front of the camera. So I'm pretty excited about that. And that's what's coming up. And in fact, I'm probably going to start that maybe Monday, but very soon on these live streams. So there's my quick little birdie. And what time are we at? I have lost track like usual. What?
You're at 4 minutes till 1.
All right. So this looks like a great place to.
Let's read the rest of the comments real quick. Sue Spencer said, we are so happy to have you two in Duluth. And also, thanks again, Bodhi and Claire, for doing the legacy video of my mom at 95. She looked absolutely gorgeous. You styled her up with her own clothes and jewelry. And also, our music group, Willow Green. Our pleasure, Sue. What a lot of fun that was, making all those, getting to interview your mom and make the music videos with you all. That was great memories.
Fabulous memories. That was a wonderful legacy project you asked us to do, and named something your dear sweet mother said. We made our own fun, and boy, she sure did. She sure was. I'm so honored that we got that time with her, and that we got to archive that in a hour-long, feature-length long documentary on your incredibly wonderful mother. That was such a great experience. Thank you so much. And it's I love being here. I love the people. I love the nature. I love how collaborative. One of my favorite quotes here was a young man who said, we help our neighbors even if we don't like them. And unfortunately, in some places, like the last place we lived, people that liked us didn't have any time to help us because everybody's Well, just scared not to have enough money, so they're always running around trying to make money. And I like to just relax and enjoy life and make art and make friends and focus on the inexhaustible resources, love and imagination. So I'm very glad to be here. Thank you. It was great to hear from you guys, Lena and Jan and Sue and all the others.
Yeah.
Forgive me for forgetting who else. Uh,
Ocean, Joni, Michael, DB Catalyst, the Lone Gun on YouTube. It was great chatting with all of you guys, and great to talk with you, Jan Margot. It's good memories. Sue sent 50 stars. Thank you for sending more
whoa,
stars. We
whoa.
appreciate it. And
Yeah,
she said, "Wow, very exciting about the mural. What a coincidence." I asked, "Cheers, glad I did not miss your show. Thank you. We love you," she said, and we
thank
love you back. And Sue, I wanted to thank you for becoming a member of her Patreon, patreon.com/Clare Cooley. We really appreciate it. And thank you, Constance Anderson, who joined as a free member. You guys, I highly recommend you go check out her Patreon. The link is down here. You can join for free to get started and connect with us at patreon.com/Clare Cooley. If you join for the $5 a month tier, you get all of the stencil designs for free. And we're going to be putting out a lot more incentives there.
right.
And
Here's
then,
some of the stencils. Here's a warbler. So there's 18 flowers out for any of the $5 a month members. You get those for no extra cost. And the warblers are going to start coming out, and one after another, we're going to get them out. We're getting that tooled up and choreographed so that they'll be coming out regularly, and really appreciate you guys being here and supporting us by being here and joining the Patreon. And if you're a free member, that's still, we count that as support, and appreciate it. And those of you who have purchased the book in ebook or print version, color, because it's got 68 pieces of art in it, my art. So I think it's worth the extra couple bucks. But it's also, the audio version is on the Creativity Show, the full book. I read the whole book, and Bodhi recorded it. We made our own little audio booth to do that in. And so that's free. And so I wrote the book because people told me my stories help them not lose hope, heal, be inspired. So I'm sharing it that way for free. But if you can afford the print version, you get the art. Um, that's fabulous. And let's end with the celebration of Bodhi. Inspired by my book, I gave him permission to turn it into a screenplay script, and it was selected by Catalyst, as well as Bodhi's sci-fi horror thriller novel, Northport, 1999, his script and pitch. Is that what it's called? Script and pitch?
yep.
So all four things he submitted to Catalyst, his book, my book, were selected. So we're very grateful and proud, and I'm very thankful that Bodhi was inspired to adapt my memoir into that. So thank you for being here, and we'll be back on Monday at noon CST, and hopefully every Monday and Thursday. I missed some recently because things do happen in life. So, but I try to do every Monday and Thursday, and I have no reason not to think I'll be here Monday at noon. So hope to see you then.
Great. And Jan Margot said, "Thanks again and see you soon." And Sue Spencer said, "Thanks, great show. Also, congratulations on your script and pitch for the Catalyst Content Film Festival. Thank you so much." And yes,
Yes, and Joni and Mike and everybody, thank you. I feel you. I know you're there, and it really means a lot to me.
all right. Just one last reminder, the script based on her book will be in the live script reading in October here in Duluth. and the pitch competition also here in Duluth. And we'll make sure to share as much about that as we can on our social media so you guys who are not here can follow along. And here's the congratulations we saw when we learned that the script I wrote based on her book and the pitch won. So yes, very good news.
All right. Thanks, Bodhi, for all your help, like always.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody. See you soon.
All right. See ya.
Stay creative.
All right. Bye, Jen.